These are the Presonus Eris. Yeah, I accidentally did the Aqua one on the sound demo, so I deliberately did the Eris one for the review, because it's sound demo first. And I got these. I bought them, because people were complaining I don't have enough sound demos for speakers. So I literally went on Amazon, and I went, all right, what's a good rated speaker? All right, that one? Okay, bye. That's it. High ratings, decent price, $250 a pair. So there's like a line, a magical line that I've constructed in my brain where it's $300 and up is like, all right, people, you have to be specifically looking to spend that much, but like $200, $250, now puts them way less than like Adam T5Vs, same size driver, 5 1/4. Dome tweeter. Yes, they're upside down. This might be the first upside down speaker of 2020. Can anyone tell me if that's the truth? Because I'm Zeos, and I am known for several things. So anime waifus as backgrounds, having a dirty fucking mouth, and running speakers upside down. And I'll explain it, because if it is the first one in 2020, because I literally can't remember, it's been a while, when you sit in front of a speaker, your ears should be like at tweeter level. But the problem with that is, even if that is the case, if you're listening to music and you're hearing a singer, and their singers are usually in the center, where that speaker can project that singer is usually not right here. It's usually up here. So if you're sitting in front, if you use your speaker stands of choice, these are the black SoundDry stands. They're very nice, but they're tall. They're like 9 inches tall. And I put these speakers on, and my chair was up high, and then I was like this, and I was still getting this like arc of sound, and I wanted it to be just straight across. So easiest thing, cheapest thing, doesn't make you look stupid because Zeos promotes it. Turn your speakers upside down. See if the sound goes from like this to like this, or even maybe a slight dip down. Now I've lowered my chair. I'm sitting at my desk. These are my eyeballs, are her eyeballs, like literally perfect. So that's where my eyeball line is. Eye level, I guess, would be the proper term. But when I play something, which I've lowered the volume here, of course I did. Let's get something with... Whoa, that was too much. Too much. Too much. All right, but that's a good example, though. That's Go-Go Cactus Man from Yoko Kanno, which is Cowboy Bebop. And someone's plucking at the strings of a... Is that a mouth harp? What is that? But anyway, it's coming right from there, because it's slightly biased left, and it's coming from that. And that's the right height. That's exactly where I want it to be. So if you don't put your speakers up and down because you think they look stupid, it's fine, but it's mechanically proper. The speaker doesn't fucking care. If speaker would care if it was sideways, that's a different scenario. Because when you put a speaker vertically, the line that this is producing sound and this is producing sound is the same. When you turn it sideways, then all of a sudden you get timing mismatches, and it's all bad. We should probably talk about the speakers. So I bought these on a whim. They're a little more than like JBL 305Ps, and they're a little less than Adam T5Es, and they're what I would call an ideal studio monitor, where some studio monitors exceed my expectations, or they do something like the JBLs, honestly. Talking about imaging and talking about sound, they have that giant... You could see one over there. Well, actually, that's an LSR 305. That's an older version. But it's got that giant soft dome waveguide, and you could poke the soft dome and destroy it if you wanted to. JBL is very, very open with that. This is like a protected, they're doing things with it. But it's also very small. But that doesn't mean it's going to sound bad. It just means that instead of getting this wash of imaging, you get depth. That was another thing that the T5Vs did, the Adam T5Vs. When you put on music... Even though the speakers I could touch them right here, it feels like the music that's happening is out of your reach. It's over there and out of your reach. Very, very, I'm going to use the word poignant imaging positioning. Motorcycle. Or it's a clown car, a really fast clown car. I'm using the topping D50S, by the way, with the linear power supply to signal this. And it's actually good because I'm going to pull one down to show you, but we're talking about sound first. It's very strange, I know. Calm yourselves. They're very flat sounding, whereas they don't immediately hit me as, oh, this is a bassy speaker, or this got too much treble. I do actually have the acoustic space switches down one notch, which lowers the treble a little bit, because I am under arm's length away. And we'll talk about how you can tune them with the switches in the back in a second. Eris wallpaper, get it? Come on. Ooh. Mr. Robot, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, Consummation. That's a good track. But they do flat things, and usually flat things are boring things. Like if people just want a party speaker, they want cheap, there's tons of options. And I would probably even indicate, go get the JBL 305P, because it's cheaper than these. Usually you can find it for around $200 a pair. Right now, it's exactly the same price, $240 a pair. Same size driver. These are built a little better than the JBLs. The new JBLs hide the facade, the screws and everything, so these are doing that now. These do have a bright blue fucking LED on them, and it's, if you're one of those people who's OCD, it's not in the center. It's on what should be, if it's right side up, the bottom right of both, but now it's the top left of both, and that, if that's going to drive you mad, just stop watching this video. Because I'm going to inform you to purchase these if you're someone who's actually doing the work of mixing music. And if you want to even just think about maybe getting into that, and you want to kind of enjoy things at the same time. God. All right. We're talking about the differences in tweeter functionality from the JBL and these. The JBL gives you a big swath, and it's a beautiful dance of sound. These, with this tweeter, and the way this is set up, gives you here, or here, or here. It doesn't fill the whole space. It's just very accurately there and a little bit out of reach, which is good when you want a depthy sound. Like I said, the Atoms have a depthy sound. These do that for $150 less than the Atoms. Not saying they're better than the Atoms. I'm actually, you know what? I'm saying they're better than the Atoms if you wanted to actually mix music. The Atoms are like a party speaker. They're more of a party speaker. I think they throw a little more low end, and those highs are a little bit crispier. Again, adjustable. Another nice thing about these is front slot port, whereas the JBLs and those Atoms are both rear ports. So in my situation, it doesn't really matter because there's space. But if this was a wall back here, this is an important thing. Not having it blast sound, and you got to keep the speakers 6 inches away from the wall to make it not reverberate. So here, I'm going to yank it. Is this the one I should be yanking? Should I yank this one? I'm going to yank this one. I'm going to lay it on its face. You can lay it on its face because this is, the waveguide around this does bring it in behind of this, and that's protected, and then there's that. So there's a, this is the bottom. Don't look at the bottom. November 2019. Okay, I'm going to actually shut this off and unplug it so it's easier to look at. It's actually got a lot, it looks like there's a lot back here, but it's a lot of diagrams. So you got an input gain adjustment. No decibels listed. It's just minimum, maximum, and then it stops at the letter U. For universal, I don't know. And it's a detent, so it literally goes click there. And I'm using that for both of these. And I kind of want to change it because I'm using this topping D50S, and it gets blisteringly loud with like 12 decibels to go. Usually the way I tell people to set up preamps, and that would be considered the preamp for the system, is you get your speakers set up so that they are gonna do, you want something set up to be the maximum. You wanna know how loud it's capable of playing without blowing up. So what you would normally do is you would set the speakers to maximum, and then you'd slowly bring up the preamp. And if it was fine, if it was like, all right, we're good here at the maximum, then you're good. But the other way around would be max out the preamp and then slowly bring the speakers up individually left and right so that you know if you ever accidentally using the remote control raise the volume all the way to 0, you don't damage anything. And unfortunately, that system does not work with this setup. I love that DAC, and I don't think it's doing anything wrong. I think these speakers, when you turn to minimum gain, it shuts off sound. It's completely 0. When you turn it off of minimum to go to like there, it's 80% is the volume. It's just 80% volume. So now you're trying to like wiggle from 0 to there and I'm trying to get like 70% of the volume so that I could use that at maximum, and it's not worth it. So pop this to you. The only reason you'd ever have to go to max is if you had like a no signal, like a 15-year-old iPod, like with no power, not even to produce RCA. So that's all you got to know about that. Is I usually leave it on you, and then you can adjust up and down slightly, like if there's a imbalance in the speakers, which Adam, by the way, totally known for having an imbalance in their speakers. So you have to set them up and be like, you don't actually twist your head to find out. What you do is you set your player to mono. If you can't set your player to mono, go to YouTube. Find any video of mine before I got the GoPro Hero 8. Because all my videos are mono, and all you have to do is play a YouTube video of me speaking, and it should come directly out the center. If it's coming there, you have two choices. Either you need to adjust the volume of one side or adjust the positioning of one side. So if I'm there, and you know that the levels are the same, you're getting a stronger signal from the left side, you'd push that speaker back until I moved over to the center again. Or vice versa. Either way you want to do it. We've only covered one knob. I'm definitely in Zeos mode today. Acoustic tuning. 2 knobs and 2 switches. We have mids and highs, and those go from plus to -6, and they're pretty self-explanatory. So you can control the mids and the highs. Then you get, these are the acoustic space. I lied. It was not to adjust the treble. It's to adjust the bass. And you could see this diagram. There's a dotted line. It's like, ooh, it's like following a map in an RPG. And it shows you when you use 0, when you use 2, and when you use -4. So legitimately, I am on 0. I am far enough away from the wall that I'm not causing any sort of bass interference. And this would be closer to the wall, and that's like in the corner, squeezed into the wall. So that was when you would turn the low end down. On top of that, and I don't see this very often, is a low frequency cutoff. So not only can you lower, it's essentially highs, mids, bass. But the thing is, high, mid, bass, and then also a frequency cutoff so that the speakers either produce flat, which I think these claims on like 45 hertz is where they'll get to, 40, 50. I usually count speakers as like 50. They have some good punch, some kick drum punch. If you're mixing music 100%, you like actually for professional use, you want to pick up a subwoofer. And that's when this comes in. Because every time I tell people to add a subwoofer to a speaker system, unless they're using a surround processor or a mini DSP, usually the speakers still try to produce 12 hertz, 15 hertz, 20 hertz. They're still trying to do that. You've added a sub to allow it to do that, but it's gonna blend weird. One of the benefits of taking bass away from a speaker is to allow it to play at higher volumes. Because when a speaker distorts, it's usually because it's trying to do this. When you take away the bass, now it's just doing mid-range. Now it's just doing vocals. So you could push it louder and harder. So the fact that this is a cutoff for flat 80 and 100 hertz means you could easily integrate a subwoofer in just by getting a splitter. Coming out of that, RCA splitter down to a sub, set the sub to 80, set this to cut off 80. There's your perfect fucking mix. You set the volume on that, you set this input gain to match, you use that to control it, you're done. That's how you set up. This is so much easier than what I would normally tell people to do, which is get like an entire mini DSP set up so that you could do, I mean, you still should do that if you want to go like super insane crazy blood filling you up. High octane crazy blood. The inputs are very basic. You get an RCA, you get a TRS, which is a 1/4 inch. Usually, like I think even on the LSR and the 305P, they don't have an RCA. You have to get a 1/4 inch or a 1/4 inch adapter. And then they have a full-blown XLR balance input, which is what most professional boards used. So you get boom, 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 3 of those. You get your settings. You get your power switch, which I don't think these auto sleep. Most studio monitors, when you get them, you turn them on, and that's it. You either have to control the power source with a switch in the ball or a smart power strip, or you leave them on forever, for their entire lives. Like those 305s never go off. However, those 305s never get warm, and this Oscar the Grouch's garbage can is driving by. This does get warm in the back. There's no external heatsink, so I believe it's an internal heatsink, and that's fine. Warmth actually indicates that it's not using like a Class D. This could be using, I think it's 130, 70 and 30. I think it's 130 watts of power, and this feels like a Class AB. It wouldn't get warm if it wasn't. So I'm gonna hook it back up now that we've explored the rear. Explore your rear. And since I'm gonna put it back upside down, I'm gonna put the acoustic space back to 0 and just turn the highs down just a touch. And let's see what I'm gonna do. Zeus's desk is really stressing. It hasn't done speakers in a while. I had to even set up these speaker stands. So this one, acoustic space, hold on. Acoustic space back to 0, highs down just a touch, and they should be perfectly even, but you know, I'm doing a review here, everybody. Oh, Kevlar. Oh, the RCA went under it. Kevlar driver, by the way, which is nice. The stiffer the driver, the less deformation that happens while it's moving, so the more natural and accurate the sound. Nothing wrong with a paper driver or like a nylon driver, but that's that's like a little thing that's like, oh, that's nice. Did I not turn you on? Oh, there's that blue. There's that terrible blue. This is, by the way, She Distort Into Me, which is why it started with distortion and made me freak out a little bit. Yeah, we're at negative 30 decibels, negative 29 decibels, and that's like, it's like a good listening volume. So 10 decibels higher than that is loud. 20 more decibels to go is like, so I would love, if I was setting these up on my desk permanently and not just doing a Zeus review right now, I would put that to 0, and I would painstakingly adjust that input gain so that we had good balance, left and right, mono the track, make sure it's good, and make sure it's as loud as I'd ever want it to play while that's at 0. And then lower it down, then you can go from 0 to 20, or 20 to 10, and you know you're not gonna blow it up. With this, if I put this up 30 decibels right now, I don't know what would happen to these speakers. And that's just them being a little touchy on the RCA input. Movie night, quarantine movie night, and I forgot I was in vent. Yes, I said vent. That's why I'm in vent, because it sounds better than everything else. Buzz! Anyway, finishing this up, because this is really like, they aren't an emotional experience. This isn't a life-changing speaker. These are just a good speaker, and they're a good speaker for actual work. Whereas the Atom 5s were a little bit more fun, and then you had to do the Atom 7s to actually get a neutrality wall. These do the neutrality wall. And I'd recommend them over JBL 305Ps for actual work. The 305Ps, though, those sort of touch me in the heart a little bit more. So it's really a matter of what are you doing with them? If you're working, these. If you're maybe working half the time and half the time just enjoying music, these. If you're mostly just getting a pair of speakers for your desk, 305Ps, Atom T5Es. That's the range. But the fact that these sit right in the middle, right there, perfect. Perfect. I could finally recommend a speaker that isn't absurdly priced to do mixing and mastering, because usually it's T7B. It's $500. You can't half the price. So I don't hate the way they look. Blue LED is a little annoying. That's it. They're Eris. They are. She might pad her chest, but this is it. This is what she goes down with. This is fine. This is fine. They sound fine, or better than fine. I'm not going to overhype a speaker just because it's on my channel. Everyone's like, see, you just overhype everything. I want people to know that they can buy it. That's it. That's the point of me talking about it, is to tell you that yes or no. But I'm also trying to tell you who should buy it. Because there's, 10,000 views in this video. 10,000 people shouldn't buy this speaker. Only the select, 50 that are specifically looking in this price range to do actual mixing and mastering work, because they don't want to spend $500-$600. Perfect. These are them. Can you afford to buy the snans as well? And will you flip them upside down? I don't know. But everyone, try flipping your speakers upside down. If you when you're doing audio, you hear it up here. These will be in a yard sale. I bought them specifically to review, and I bought them because I knew I was going to put them in the yard sale. If they would have changed the fabric of space-time in front of me, they probably wouldn't end up in the yard sale and end up shoving them in a closet and holding on to them like a hoarder. But I'm not doing that. So check out the yard sale at the end of this month. Check out the sound demo in the description. You can download that Eris wallpaper, which I made minutes before I started this review, because I was like, fuck, I gotta get a fucking Eris review wallpaper. That's in the description. Every wallpaper I've ever used is on Patreon or Subscribestar. Both those platforms have the same benefits, only Subscribestar never said that anime is all going to be banned. So, I mean, take your pick. Look it up. There's an article. Links to these, links to sound demo, links to that stuff. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're going to throw out hi-fi guides, and that's it. Hi-fi guides, your number one place to go to look for speakers, which I haven't added these yet, I don't think. Because this is a constantly updating list, which I need to change the thumbnails out. So let's see, we want to go, I have a $330 budget, and I want self-powered speakers. Yeah, currently all you have there are the JBL 306Ps. Where are the 305s? Remind me to install the 305Ps. So 305, 306P. Although, wait, did I say the 306P was a replacement for the 305P? Because it was bigger and had more low end? $240 each, I believe. iLoud micros and the little tiny monoprice ones. So yeah, really down here, there's not much. These are all out of the price range. Is a line. And these are all things in your price range. So $330 for speakers that are self-powered. And this is everything outside of that price range that's at least recommended by myself or DMS. Swan M3As. And then don't forget that there are the forums attached to hi-fi guides, and this place is actually, this whole quarantine thing is jazz recommendations, anyone, 53 posts. I would just tell them to listen to Cowboy Bebop soundtrack, honestly. And if we look over here, it's all the pictures of Eris I had to choose from. It was difficult. It was difficult. It was difficult. Oh, that would have been a good one too. That would have been a good one too. Fucking Aqua. If they make a speaker called the Aqua, I could have the Aqua background to fight the Eris background. Or they should make a bigger one. Eris should make, because it's the Presonus Eris, they should make the Presonus Aqua, but then it would be useless trash. Very pretty useless trash, but useless trash. Anyway, that's the end of this review. Thank you for stopping by. Come by tomorrow for the sound demo. And at the end of the month or the start of the next month for the yard sale, will I be giving these away or selling them? Not giving them away. Selling them. Free shipping US, half shipping international. That's it. Let's go watch Bad Boys 3.